and happy Poetry Month. So today I'm going to share with you one of my favorite poems from my childhood. You maybe have heard of an author called A.A. Milne. You probably know A.A. Milne for writing the Winnie the Pooh books, which are really popular and really wonderful. But did you know that A.A. Milne is also a wonderful poet? He wrote some really great poetry, really funny, really fun to read, really touching. And one of my favorite books by him is called When We Were Very Young. So I'm going to read one of my favorite poems by him today. It's called Disobedience. James Morrison, Weatherby George Dupree took great care of his mother, though he was only 3. James said to his mother, "Mother," he said he, "you must never go down to the end of the town if you don't go down with me." James Morrison's mother put on a golden gown. James Morrison's mother drove to the end of town. James Morrison's mother said to herself, said she, "I can get right down to the end of town and be back in time for tea." King John put up a notice, lost or stolen or strayed. James Morrison's mother seems to have been mislaid. Last seen wandering vaguely, quite of her own accord. She tried to get down to the end of the town. 40 shillings reward. James Morrison, commonly known as Jim, told his other relations not to go blaming him. James said to his mother, "Mother," he said he, "you must never go down to the end of town without consulting me." James Morrison's mother hasn't been heard of since. King John said he was sorry, so did the Queen and Prince. King John, somebody told me, said to a man he knew, "If people go down to the end of the town, well then what can anyone do?" Now then, very softly, J.M.M.W.G. Dupree took great care of his M, though he was only 3. J said to his M, he said he, "You must never go down to the end of the town if you don't go down with me."